How did I end up here? Wrong question. I began here. Right here on this planet. Was it hard to be born as someone else's alter? Not for me. A scientist must never deny reality, however uncomfortable. So, why did I stay behind when the others left? Because something I found here disturbed my mental clarity. The oasis. Teeming with life in the middle of a barren, uninhabitable planet. How does it survive? What undiscovered laws of nature protect it from the lethal sunrise? I sensed that solving this mystery could open up a whole new chapter in the history of science. Thus, I made it my life's work. So, if you are reading this, well, frankly, I don't care. One thing I've learned is that recognition is overrated. Knowledge is the ultimate pursuit. Well, now the only thing left to do is go to sleep and wait for a new cycle to begin. And with it, answers. Oh my, that was a long sleep. I don't think I've slept that hard in... Oh. Hello?
Hello?
Who are you? And what did I miss?
Nothing. You missed nothing, boy. You have just been born. Everything you remember is only in your head. But I expect it's nothing you can't handle.
Oh, well, of course, don't worry. I have the intellectual tools to deal with it. Nevertheless, it is a surprising turn of events. I simply never thought I'd go through all this again. But, I'm not going through it again, am I? This is my first time. Yes, I am beginning to understand it now. You're the person whose memories I have in my head, and now that you're too old to go on, you created me. It's what I would do. Relax, you can trust me. I'm just like you. No need to protect me from the hard truth.
What did you just say?
Never mind, just tell me what you found out. I'll pick up from there.
You... No, I don't think I can do this. But I have to. Oh no. Time is so scarce.
You're not making any sense. I have to say, I expected more.
The quantum.
Yes, I know the quantum computer created me. Oh, hang on. We actually have a quantum computer? Well, now you're talking.
The comms room.
Really? There's a comms room, too. Does this mean you have contact with Earth? Are you sure you don't need anything? A glass of water, perhaps?
Talk to him. But please.
Yes? What?
Be better.
You have got to be kidding me. He said, talk to him. Him. I wonder who he was talking about. It might be sensible to examine my circumstances thoroughly. Where should I start? Finally, the right person in the right place. Hello. We are talking, which means that I am dead and everything went as planned. My name is Jan, and I am an accumulated artificial model of your predecessor's mind, a so-called AAM-OIPM. But you can call me Janbot. Oh, clever. Thank you. Before we start the briefing, let's establish an adequate working relationship. I will be your source of information and virtual assistant. Your role will be to pick up your predecessor's research where it left off. Please confirm your willingness to accept this arrangement.
And what happens if I don't? Oh, the curious scientific mind on top form, I see. Frankly, it doesn't matter. It was just a rhetorical icebreaker. No need to answer it. Let's move on to the briefing without further ado. Your precursor, whose mind records serve to train my neural system, paved the way for you with some groundbreaking research. One of the fundamental findings was that he managed to calculate the parameters of the planet's cycle. He. You do remember you're nothing more than an artificial model based on the person who made these calculations. That's very amusing coming from a copy of his DNA. Fair point. I suppose the credit goes to all of us then. Yes, he did a great job. Anyway, let's get back to the calculation, shall we? Two phases of the cycle can be distinguished. A cold phase, when humans can be active on the planet, and a hot phase, when the surface is too hot for anything to survive. The hot phase, when activity above the ground is impossible, lasts for the equivalent of 13 Earth years. 13 years of waiting? Yes. Every hot cycle needs to be spent underground. Supplies have to be secured for that time, energy to power the base. Now you understand how little time he had to devote to the oasis itself. Every time a discovery was on the horizon, the sun came and destroyed everything. And after every hot cycle, he emerged onto the surface older, weaker, body and mind deteriorating from radiation exposure. That's when he realized it was time to turn to the most risky scenario. Create a successor. And here I am. Very perceptive. Do you have any questions regarding your position? How did you build a quantum computer all on your own? The quantum computer in your base is built from parts and materials salvaged at different stages of his sojourn on this planet. They have been meticulously handpicked and modified by our ingenious mind in a decade-long process to arrive with the adequate hardware. This makeshift yet sophisticated structure could then serve as a chassis for the corporate software retrieved from the tour vehicle left behind by the Dali mission, thus creating an operational quantum computer. Ally Corp software. Interesting. I'm pleased you found my answer satisfactory. Would you like to conclude the briefing, or do you have any more questions? Remind me how things work on this planet? As you might remember from your quantum simulated memories, this planet is not easy to explore. Unpredictable topography, nighttime radiation, hostile anomalies, all of which require specialist equipment and energy. Those, in turn, depend upon securing resources, which are scarce and oftentimes difficult to access. Right, I know that. Then there's the sun, the deadly one. Every cycle, when the proximity between planet and star reaches a critical value, everything on the surface turns to ash. Does my answer satisfy your curiosity, or would you like to know more? I'm ready to get to work. Excellent. Let's start with protecting you from the mistakes of your predecessor. He managed to create blueprints for a cryosleep chamber for your base. Build it, and you will be able to extend your stay on this planet by a significant, if not infinite, amount of time. Did you say infinite? Yes, but please remember I can make mistakes. Huh. Wait, why didn't he build a cryosleep chamber for himself? He could have avoided aging and wouldn't have to create me whatsoever. Sometimes the right answers only come to us after a fair share of errors. At the time, it seemed to me that going to sleep for 13 years would be a waste of time and energy which could be devoted to underground research and learning. By the time he realized we might not make it, it was too late. Researching the cryosleep chamber so that it was adapted to the conditions of an underground base was, in itself, challenging and time-consuming. So when it was ready, he was so old that there was no point in hibernating such a frail and unreliable body. Right? Let's just get on with it. Good. Take a look around the base, go outside, and locate the necessary resources. Once you've got your bearings, get to work on that cryosleep chamber so we can plan your next steps. Unbelievable. The fundamental module in the base is malfunctioning. Different than I remember. I wonder what happened to it or to my memories. So, that's what it feels like to destroy an anomaly. Whatever. I should prioritize securing fundamental resources. Geyser. How interesting. I wonder if Jan had any records I could break. predecessor's whiteboard. I should take a look at it. Right. Let's see what the old man managed to find out. The theory of continuity, our original concept about the Oasis being reborn. But he wrote that it's wrong. The Oasis is not reborn, but never gets destroyed. Hey, Yonbot. Ah, you again. How may I help? I took a look around, and I have some questions. Ask away. I discovered my precursor's whiteboard. The theory of continuity. Why did he abandon it? The theory of continuity was abandoned because it was wrong. As you might remember from your duplicated memories, the core assumption was that the Oasis dies with every cycle, and is then reborn in a more advanced state of evolution. As it turned out, this assumption was made without any empirical data, and it was false. How extremely sloppy of me, him. Hey, don't be so harsh on us. It felt like the perfect explanation at the time. At least that's how I remember it. Believe me, this is not a harsh reaction. You should have been there when he, found out how wrong we were. What did you find out eventually? The Oasis isn't reborn with every cycle. It doesn't need to be, because it never gets destroyed. What? But the sun... The sun doesn't burn it. Something is protecting it. Wait, are you telling me a part of the planet is capable of resisting the immense thermal radiation of the rising sun? How is that scientifically possible? It's mind-blowing, but apparently it has to be. And that is the mystery you have been created to solve. Your life's purpose, if you will. Why does the planet look different than I remember? Did you move the bunker, or is my mind playing tricks on me? Insightful observation. Don't worry, your senses are not deceiving you. The bunker is exactly where it was. However, everything else isn't. Shortly after the rescue ship departed, the planet underwent a significant cataclysm. You mean an earthquake? More like a gravitational rearrangement of tectonic plates, to be precise. It most certainly had something to do with the destruction of the Prism Barrier by your predecessor's team. Huh. How interesting. So, through all these years, did no vessel arrive from Earth again? No, and no one has made contact. Don't you find it strange? After finding out there's so much rupidium here, you'd expect the corporation to send another mining mission. Who knows what's going on back there? What the long-term repercussions of bringing rupidium to Earth were. It seems my predecessor didn't get very far with his research. How do you recommend I go about the next steps? Asking me for a recommendation is a good idea. Here's what I suggest. Clap your hands, turn around 3 times, and touch your ear with your elbow. Excuse me? My apologies. I should have warned you about my condition.
Your condition?
Yes, you must know that I have been trained on samples from various stages of my prototype's life. Sometimes my algorithms make accidental use of linguistic patterns from the absurdist phase.
The absurdist phase.
It's a long story. Would you like to hear it?
Tell me.
At some point in life on this planet, he experimented with cognitive enhancers, improving focus and mental capacity.
Nootropics. Really?
They turned out to have some unforeseen side effects.
Let me guess. Talking nonsense?
Pure nonsense. It was a thought-provoking experiment. However, I don't recommend recreating it.
I think I've heard enough.
Good. Back to the main topic then. Your further steps. Now that you know the theory of continuity is wrong, you will need a new direction for the research. The first task would be to formulate a solid hypothesis. Next, you should collect any significant data that could help validate, falsify the hypothesis, and perform adequate statistical tests.
Oh, that's very vague advice. Care to be a little more specific than that?
Of course. Here is a more explicit way to formulate my recommendation about your next steps. You need to investigate the surroundings and come up with a fresh idea. The whiteboard will help you collect your thoughts and findings. Your predecessor found it a very useful tool. Now that you know where he left off, you can clear it and kick off your own process.
Fine. If that's all you have for me, back to the whiteboard then. The best way to do something properly is to rebuild it from the foundation. I see we have a source of nutrition provided. Good. Huh. The QC looks different than I remember. Oh, strange. It seems I don't have access. So much work needs to be done. I'd be much more efficient if there were more of me.
Hey, Yanbot. What can I do for you today? It's about the QC. It's blocked. Do you have access to it? Ah, I see. So you decided to do it. Alter yourself. Are you sure this is a good idea? It's unavoidable with all the work there is to do. If you're certain it's necessary, I won't contradict you. I'm here to help, not argue. But it is my duty to objectively present the disadvantages of this idea. Altering could cause unwanted complications. You have memories of what happened during the Dolly mission. Tension between conflicting characters in the group. Emotions getting in the way of rational decision-making. Accidents, injuries, including self-inflicted ones. Episodes of paranoia. Incidents of base demolition. All this could cause more damage than good.
Unforgettable memories indeed, even if they're not exactly mine.
Yes, which makes me think that revisiting all those facts... One element in the equation has changed. the core awareness person in charge. Yes, this could be your chance. Wait, you're trying to say I can do it differently? Correct. Adopt a discrepant approach. I am analyzing incongruencies as we speak. Jan the Builder wasn't a skilled professional in anything. You, Jan the Scientist, on the other hand, possess extensive knowledge in many fields. Does that inspire any paths of reasoning for you? I don't exactly know everything, but I'm close. Yes, I think I've got it. I just need you to unlock the QC for me and I'll know what to do. Please remember that I am only a linguistic model. I am unable to unlock access to anything. So, what now? You will need to reprogram the QC to set up a new branching procedure. The downside is that it will be time-consuming. The upside, that you can adjust the procedure to your individual needs. Creating branching points as close to the original me as possible. No petty differences of character, complete mutual understanding, harmonious cooperation, and a lack of any emotional nonsense whatsoever. It looks like we might have a potential direction. Do you think you're more ready to make an informed decision about altering than before? What about the Rapidium-induced illness? I have memories of having to find a cure to keep us alive. If I create my alters, won't they be affected too? Am I not affected? A very rational inquiry. You must know that your predecessor prepared meticulously for your creation. That's why it took me, him, so much time. One of the core elements of this undertaking was preventing the illness. Based on his experience from the Dolly mission, he have devised a chemical compound which could be injected into your body right at the moment of initiating the DNA replication process. The mechanism has been incorporated into the womb module so that the compound is distributed automatically. In other words, your longevity, as well as the longevity of any potential alter you might create, is estimated as comparable to that of a human being born on Earth. Does that clear your doubts? Yes, I'll take it from here. I must say this has been a very satisfactory conversation, judging by the amount of energy I have consumed.
reason I'm here.
have enough samples. I should head back and take a closer look at them. Hello there. Yes, you are seeing correctly. And you're connecting the dots right now. No. What? You're not who I think you are. This is not what I think it is. I'm afraid it is. But no. I remember staying on the planet, going to sleep in the bunker. Don't worry, it's those meds. They're slowing down your thinking. You'll catch on when they wear off. You don't have to be patronizing. I know what's going on. I'm your alter. I can see that. The reason I find it hard to accept is that it just doesn't make any sense. I'm the one who made a real career. I'm globally recognized. People actually stopped on the street to take a photo with me, queued for my autograph. Surely this is a mistake. The QC made a mistake. Did it? Let's see. Why don't we start with a simple question? Apart from being a celebrity, what is your field of study? Optics. But I was always more of an astrophysicist at heart. Oh, good. Then we have something in common. Finally, everything is interconnected. But whoever you think you are, you're not out nerding me. Because I am the most versatile and savvy version of myself that could ever exist. And I just need a good engineer. That's going to have to be enough for you. I'm sure if you read the project documentation with that genius mind of yours, you'll grasp the essentials of your role here. Oh, I'll read it. But be prepared to have your preconceptions challenged.
algae have a crystal atomic structure, almost like shards. Wait a minute. I think I'm on the brink of formulating a hypothesis. Oh, I wonder what Yambot would have to say about it. Hey, Yambot. I've come up with a working hypothesis I'd like to share. Remember when we talked about the prism barrier having some correlation with the ecosystem here? Let me guess. You think it might be playing a role in protecting the oasis, too? The structure of the samples I collected seemed to resemble the shards that were scattered on the planet after our landing. And they contain crystallized rupidium. Interesting hypothesis. But it has a flaw. Tell me, the prism barrier doesn't protect the planet from the sun. True. That's why I'm wondering if there is anything unique to the atomic structure of rupidium present in the oasis. Some kind of quality to its framework that turns it into a special material. A metamaterial. How about we call it the metamaterial hypothesis? Huh. Creative. Thank you. However, your hypothesis is founded on a vast amount of theoretical guessing with very little empirical data. It's more than you've ever come up with. Bold statement. Would you like me to provide evidence against it? I could start with breaking down the process of designing and constructing the QC from scratch. Okay. I got it. Let's focus on the samples and what they can tell us. This calls for a SAM. And when you say SAM, you mean a highly specialized sample analyzer module. Of course. Based on a much more innovative and versatile approach to examining specimens than Ally Corp would ever care to finance. Your predecessor almost built it at one point, but he, got so consumed with designing it that he, forgot about providing fuel for the base. It meant spending the last 5 years of the hot cycle in extreme energy saving mode. I can't stop wondering, how is it possible that through all these years, he made such inconsiderable progress? Of course, I understand that he had to create all those tools from scratch, and that his life conditions weren't exactly advantageous. Still, it seems unbelievable that he would abandon so completely the main reason why he stayed on this planet, researching the oasis itself. As the aforementioned example proves, he didn't abandon it. He simply struggled with many more obstacles than you have to deal with, paving the way for you, just like he did with the SAM design. How do I go about building it? The blueprints are almost ready. All they need are a few finishing strokes. You should be able to find them in the lab. Time to get to work then. I must make one request before you go. What is it? Let me know what you find when you process the samples in the SAM. It's groundbreaking technology, and for better or worse, my neurological patterns were involved in creating it. They have a right to know what came of it. I'll see where it gets me. Thank you. Hello there. Can you see me?
I can see you.
And? Any thoughts?
Why me?
Oh, so you already understand your position. That was quick.
Do you have an answer for me?
I needed someone as intelligent as me, but with a different angle. Tell me, what is your field of study?
Microfluids.
Oh, you're a man of few words, I see. I couldn't agree more. The project documentation has all the information you need. Read it, make yourself comfortable in the base, and stand by for further instructions.
I don't think you got this right. I don't take instructions.
Yes. Right. I guess I assumed harmonious cooperation was a core element of my identity when I hit the altering button, and I never feel comfortable about being wrong. So, I hope we can put this little misunderstanding behind us once the meds wear off and make a new start.
Just show me the lab.
So, have you read the project documentation? I thought you'd never ask. Well, here's the good news. In terms of content, it's not complete nonsense. But as far as the style is concerned, the turn of phrase, wording, narrative, likeness, it's embarrassingly inapproachable. I hate to say it, but you'd never get this junk published. Oh, I'm glad you appreciate the content, because that's what really matters. I couldn't care less about the form. Besides, you don't genuinely think we can count on an audience in the near future? Short-sighted, limited, unimaginative thinking. Science is not just facts and figures. It's worthless if it doesn't resonate with the general public. It is our duty to open up to that universal need to understand the world in synergy, the inconceivable, hand in hand with common knowledge. Believe me when I tell you, narrow specialization is a trap. You can't understand everything about everything. I can, and so could you if you wanted to. Did you know our brain absorbs over 1 megabyte of information per second? And that a vast amount of that data results in instant decisions made by our body? Think about it. Our subconsciousness deciding for us. I am familiar with fast thinking, thank you. But do you understand what it really means? Our brain listens to those subtle impulses of the body. Heart rate, sweating, instant memories, and associations gathered in the course of experience. In other words, intuition. You can't ignore it, just as you can't ignore the human factor in science. Are you a scientist or a storyteller? Huh. Is there a difference, I ask? Look around you. Science is everywhere. Let me show you something. Imagine this is us here. And this is science. All we need to do is bend our perception of it, and bingo. Impressive, right? What is? Ending up in the same place we were? No, realizing that something that seemed so far away from our field of study can be so close, so relevant. You do realize that's not what this demonstration is about? I know what I'm doing. Contrary to most of us around here, I've decided to make it my mission to make sure our work is as accessible and interdisciplinary as possible. You'll thank me later. should break down those results on the whiteboard. Yambot is going to start bouncing off the walls when he hears this. So, have you read the project documentation?
Yes.
And? Your figures are not accurate. Care to elaborate? You make too many approximations. It's a serious hazard. I approximate to the nearest thousandths. How is that not enough for you? I don't trust anything that's rounded up. Makes it subject to interpretation. Raw data is what I respect. Oh, now you're making me laugh. You do realize that there is no such thing as raw data? Every observation is interpretation. Theoretical speculation. I'm allergic to it. Human stupidity ruins every project. It's tested empirically. Remember, this is a colony of Professor Dolskys. We're not stupid, right? I know what I'm doing. You can trust me. Think you can do that? Your figures are not accurate. Hey, Yambot. I built a SAM, and it worked.
Amazing. Did you know that, I once met a girl named Sam. She told me that she was a fan. I wrote her an ode. It made her feet cold. And that was the last I saw Sam. I'm so sorry. Absurdist phase attack. You never know when it's going to hit.
I'm surprised to be saying this, but, I actually don't mind it that much. It gives you an unpredictable quality.
That's very kind of you. Unpredictable behavior can be associated with human imperfection. Of course, it can also be the result of a systemic flaw or coding error. Did I mention I can make mistakes?
Can't we disable it somehow?
I'd be grateful if you found a way. It is extremely embarrassing.
Let's talk about my results, shall we?
The sooner the better.
My analysis has revealed that there must be an underground vein of rupidium beneath the oasis. But it's not pure rupidium. My intuition pointing to it having a different quality was correct.
And when you say different quality, you mean?
It seems it reacts with the substance coming from those peculiar geysers on the surface.
The geysers. That's interesting. I should be able to provide you with a chemical formula of the geyser water.
Great. That could speed things up significantly.
Excellent progress, Jan. He knew that a SAM would prove essential to this project. Any thoughts on next priorities?
I'd like to examine how this rupidium mix works exactly. Can it fertilize any part of the planet? Or does the oasis require other special conditions?
You could start by trying to develop this substance yourself.
Yes. It will require designing some new infrastructure elements. I think I already have ideas.
You'll also need to find a way to store it in the base safely.
Naturally. Well, I'd better get to work at once then.
Good luck.
Don't forget to let me know about the results. I'm so excited, Jan. I wouldn't even mind saying something absurd right now. But nothing's coming to me when needed. Oh well, over and out. You wanted to talk? Did you know that before becoming a globally acclaimed science communicator, I dabbled in robotics somewhat? Of course, that's why I created you. In that case, surely you must be impatient to put those unparalleled skills of mine to the best possible use. Just get to the point, please. Au point. Naturellement. Let me ask you a question. When it comes to the efficiency of human-operated technology, which should be the deciding element? Human competence or machine performance? Well, if the machine is well designed, it should be able to work efficiently without much human intervention. if the machine is well designed for certain circumstances, but those circumstances suddenly change. A magnetic storm arrives. A gravitational anomaly impacts the topography. Here, let me show you something. Imagine this is an adequately designed, properly maintained mining outpost. And this is the competent professional responsible for operating it. Now, what do you think this means? The competent professional falls under the outpost, causing a very unfortunate accident. I don't think you've been paying attention. Focus. It means that the advantages of the two can be combined, creating a new, unique quality. As in a profound relationship where 1 and 1 do not simply equal 2. The same applies to robotics. The perfect machine is the one that can absorb the attributes of its human operator without the need for any intervention. It's almost like mind reading, but without the necessity for the mind to be present. What exactly are you suggesting? A next-generation smart mining outpost equipped with an autonomous decision-making system independent of the individual operator's skills. You mean speeding up mining even if it's assigned to someone who's never seen a drill outside of a blueprint? What are you trying to imply? I like it. What do you need to make it happen? I'm glad you asked. Because there is actually one little piece missing from this puzzle. The smart autonomous decision-making system I designed in the days of my humble robotic career was part of an ambitious commercial project. And it so happened that all the documentation was kept by my assistant. You mean you don't remember it? Of course I don't remember it. It was a big company and my role was to conceive ideas, incubate solutions. My assistant was there to nurture them and, well, make sure that the numbers add up. To put it bluntly, she took care of the less intellectually demanding mundane elements of running an R&D lab. A true sidekick. Don't we all wish we had someone like that at hand? Yes, well, it didn't last long, I'm afraid. Kathy had, well, issues with my leading role in our department. She was simply jealous of my ideas. And now we will have to talk to her. You mean a quantum projection of her? Even if, by some miracle, she did exist somewhere on Earth, the Kathy you knew, the one that kept the documentation of your ideas, she's not real. Of course, I meant that. Remember, we don't need her in physical form, just a quantum simulation of what a person like her would have in their head, being part of my life path. The QC has my mind records, and it's already created a model like Yanbot. What could be easier than recreating a model of Kathy's mind for us? Okay, I suppose it could work. Let's try it and see where it takes us. Fantastic. Just let me get that tiny piece of information from Kathy, and I promise to turn our mining infrastructure to gold.
nothing more for me to do here. Want me to switch my attention to this? Attention to this. There's nothing more for me to do here. Want me to switch my attention to this? Running out of storage space. My attention to this. Now finished. What's next? Maybe this. There's nothing more for me to do here. Want me to switch my attention
Hey, looks like we're running out of radiation filters. I'm finished. What's next? Maybe this.
Hello.
Hello.
My name is Jan.
Hi, Jan. I'm Kathy. You seem familiar. Where exactly am I?
You are inside a quantum computer. Your consciousness has been artificially generated to emulate a certain person from the memories of another version of me. We brought you to our reality because you possess knowledge which is valuable to us.
Hmm.
Do you understand what I'm saying?
I think so, yes.
Really? You don't have any questions?
I have a multitude of questions. My database suggests that researching autonomously thinking machines has been one of my most important fields of study. I must have wondered many times whether those machines are capable of developing their own consciousness. Isn't it ironic that here I am, as one of them now? Do I have a consciousness of my own?
Huh. Provocative question. The very fact that you're posing it might well be proof that the answer is positive.
A cautious but reasonable answer. You're right. The matter is delicate. Thank you for your honest opinion. I will consider it a guideline for our future interactions. Now, what is it that you want from me?
I'm curious about how much you remember, as a phantom from someone else's simulated life path. What's so funny?
That word you used, phantom. I feel like it describes me well. I think I remember quite a great deal. But at this point, all my knowledge seems to be a bit disconnected. I think my neural architecture needs a specific impulse to operate correctly.
You'd better talk to my alter.
The other version of you whose mind records serve as a foundation for my existence?
Yes. I couldn't have described it better myself. I'm sure once you see him, everything will fall into place.
Excellent. Thank you.
Believe it or not, I managed to bring your assistant to life. Kathy's awake and ready to talk to you. Really? Oh, well, that's great news. How do you find her? Maybe it's the interface, but she seems much smarter than the person you described. Her memory is unreliable at this point, but she's communicative, and I'm quite certain that talking to you will refresh her neural connections. Yes. Of course. I will talk to her. That was the point of the experiment. I just didn't expect it to happen so quickly, you know? I think I need to look through my notes and prepare properly. I'll talk to her when I'm ready to ask the right questions.
mind checking our food supply? I'd like to draw your attention to something.